Good afternoon, Madam Chair and committee members and staff, members of the audience. I'm Henry A.J. Ramos. I'm the President and CEO of the Insight Center for Community Economic Development. We are a nearly 50-year-old policy think tank focusing on economic issues around the country for low-income communities based in Oakland, California. I'm particularly thrilled to be here with you today and to be joining both Sarah and Chris, whose work is epically important in our state. I want to thank the committee for the opportunity to provide additional historical context on the issues, particularly the importance of improving our metrics, also to report on our research into improving economic security, and also to offer some thoughts to you and California families as we work together on solutions to the pressing problem of economic insecurity, which, as we all know, threatens both California's immediate recovery as well as its long-term prosperity. I hope you'll allow me to indulge you in recalling the evolution of these measurements of poverty and self-sufficiency, building somewhat on what you've heard to date from Sarah. We know the stories of the pioneer Molly Orshansky multiplying a family's food budget by 3 times to get the simple first measure of income adequacy in 1963, and how that calculus remains today the foundation of the federal poverty guidelines. Not a lot has changed since 1963, notwithstanding the interim measures that were just spoken to. Insight Center, in our early years, then known as the National Economic Development and Law Center, was a leader in addressing the shortcomings of this measurement of deprivation, in part because it gave policymakers like you so few handles for effecting change. In the intervening decades, the field has developed models that provide more sophisticated measurements of housing, of transportation, of childcare, of health care, and of education costs, as well as the benefits of public supports and transfers, which give us a clearer picture of what families require for true self-sufficiency. One example, the Census Bureau Supplemental Poverty Measure, requested by Congress in the 1990s, measures both local costs for housing, food, clothing, etc., as well as the public supports a family receives, tax credits, SNAP, and assistance, to provide a more precise picture of poverty nationally. The good news is this measure is more accurate. The bad news, of course, for us here in California is that California has the highest poverty rate in the country under this measurement system. Nearly 9 million Californians, or 23.8% of our state population, are categorized as poor under this regime. If these numbers sound familiar, it's because the Insight Center reported them to this very committee last year, and despite many improvements in our economy since then, this measurement of poverty, sadly, has not changed. High housing costs, of course, contribute mightily to our high poverty rate, but the Census Bureau also notes that California's declining public support system and low participation rate among eligible residents for some services have contributed to our ranking as the state with the highest supplemental poverty measure poverty rate. So, how do we use these measures to reduce poverty and increase self-sufficiency? Our field has developed models that move beyond measuring deficits to address concepts of economic security, social inclusion, and racial and gender equity. Insight, with our partners at the University of California, Los Angeles, most recently has developed metrics for adults, for elders, for grandparents raising children, and for households where adult children return to live with their parents, all of which provide people like you the tools to better understand and change conditions. Tomorrow, the Insight Center will co-release Older Adults Challenged Financially When Adult Children Move Home. This is an analysis developed in partnership with Dr. Stephen Wallace, Associate Director of the UCLA Center for Health Policy Research. It shows or reflects on the impact of adult children returning home to live with parents, elderly parents usually, largely as a result of economic hardship, and the cost for these households of maintaining self-sufficiency under those circumstances. It turns out that nearly 2.5 million adult Californians were living with their parents in 2011, or over 60% more than the number in the pre-recession 2006 timeframe. Of this total, nearly 450,000 older adults over age 65 housed about 600,000 of those returning adult children. Our analysis quantifies for the first time the real costs these seniors face in each of California's counties up and down the state as they struggle to support themselves and an adult child who has returned home. I would like in closing to make two final points to this committee to support policy and budget work that you undertake in 2014 with an eye to these issues. First, California's economic recovery is underway, clearly, but it is underpowered. There is a strong business case in our estimation for supporting hardworking Californians, our children and our elders, by putting dollars in the hands of people in our local economies, ensuring that lower-income Californians make up ground that was lost during the Great Recession, as well as the erosion of our middle class generally over the past several decades, will fuel this recovery that we all seek. Second, the programs and policies that strengthen economic security turn out to be very popular with Americans of all ages and all backgrounds. The Center for American Progress last month released very interesting survey results to support this point. In a study called Americans of All Ages Agree, we need to do much more to reduce poverty. I've enclosed a copy of the accompanying chart in the packets that we have provided to staff. I urge you to look at that. The Center for American Progress research shows that Americans support child care, nutrition assistance, minimum wage increases, and expanded tax credits at rates exceeding 75%. As political leaders, I'm sure you can appreciate how rare that is to find such consensus. We can measure the impact of poverty, but we can also measure the support for reducing it that is required. Insight Center stands most ready to work with you, advocates, and California's leadership generally to improve future prosperity for all. Madam Chair and committee members, I want to thank you very much for your time today, your ear, and your service to the nearly 9 million Californians who are counting on you to strengthen California's economy by reducing its poverty. Thank you.